Hello, hello. Just trying to get all set up here. And hey, Helen. Oh, hi, sweet lady. All right, goal setting workshop today. I'm really excited to give back in this way. So I planned quite a bit of stuff for y'all and it's going to be really great. I'm actually very proud of it because even as I'm doing it, I'm learning even more, and I just love giving in this way. It's like one of my biggest sort of superpowers, so just using this platform to do that. So I'm just gonna wait for a few more. I am hopefully this should be able to load up into my Facebook group. I have not tried it as an event, so I am not too sure how that's gonna look like. So if you can come on live, that's great. If not, hopefully we can have this, I can upload this, and then that way you can catch the replay, because I know it's a Sunday and I know things come up, and I just wanna make sure that that you get this beautiful offering, because it is time. It's your time to plan. It's your time to really show up for yourself. And these are things that I did for myself, and I continue to tweak this as much as I can to really make it easy, because I love easy. I love easy. So this little mini sort of workshop is going to really be about the little tips that you can do to set goals and plan your year, and really make it sort of live in it on purpose. So we're gonna get started as soon as possible. So I just want to make sure that I see two people here. I saw Helen. So if you're jumping on, please kind of say hello, hey, I'm here, because that way I can see you. Because when you jump on, I don't see who's jumping on. I don't know why, but I do. When you comment, I see it. So just want to make sure that that's working well. So jump on, just say hello, and tell us where you're from, things like that. So lots in store for you. It's going to be a powerful. So we're looking around. Hey, you. We're looking around maybe about an hour. Hi, Lynn. Oh, we're looking about an hour, and again, I'm hoping that I'll be able to have this uploaded into my page. So that way you get the recording, but if not, it's good that you're live. This way you wouldn't miss it again, because I've never tried to go live on hi, beautiful. I've never gone live on through an event, so I just want to make sure that all works out. All right, so again, just we're gonna get started in just a few seconds and go at it. So just grab your pen, grab your piece of book, your notebook, and a hot drink. Just get comfortable. Because we will be doing some sort of intention setting. So we're gonna get you in a meditative state. Hey, from Canada. From Canada. Yeah. We're in Canada. No, just joking. I know you. Right. Oh my gosh, I love it. So there's a lot of just twice I'll be putting you guys in a meditative state, and again, that's just to kind of tap into that subconscious and get our brain waves kind of working to kind of serve us in this knowledge. And so this is really powerful. So I want to just make sure that I add that in there for you. So just grab what you need to grab, and then we're gonna get going as soon as possible. So I know people will just jump on as they come on, and I don't want to take up too much time just kind of doing that. So that's fantastic. All right, so let me just make sure that I have all this here ready to go. All right. Do you guys already have some goals already set? You have some things in mind that you are thinking that you want for yourself, you want to kind of accomplish. I just want to make sure I'm not getting anyone else photo bombing me or whatever that bombing is. So yeah, share if there's any sort of like goals that you've got set for yourself. I see a lot of thumbs up. Yes. So this will give you a nice guideline to kind of know how to organize that, and you'll see a lot of yourself also in the way the patterns are when it comes to how you set goals. Like you can say to me and say, well, I've done goals, I know what you're referring to, I'm kind of familiar with it. It's a little bit different how I'm going to explain it, because I do understand there's the conventional way of doing it, because we need to utilize, there's also the part of us in our mind that a lot of people, this is a known thing, is once February hits, many people kind of jump off, drop off the wagon, and they're not able to sustain, or somehow the goals don't get accomplished, and they're like, oh, and then they hit December and they're like, yeah, I wanted to do that, so I guess that has to move over to the next year. So we don't want that. We want to give you a set plan so that you know how to actually like really make purposeful goals, really align to it. This is really the biggest thing that you're going to get from this course is alignment, aligning to that vision version of yourself. And this is really the important thing, is if you don't have that, you're not that version of that goal that you want, you are not going to accomplish it. You may be close to it. You may, end up attracting it. Yeah, financial abundance. That's a big one even for myself this year. So that's really, really good. And how do you get financial abundance? And how do we start to become that version of someone who has financial abundance, right? Who has abundance. So that's what we're going to kind of cover here very quickly. And I'm just going to make sure that I can put as much as I can within the hour, so that you are leaving here with tools that are very strong. And if you wanted to take this further, I'll even give you those steps as to how you can do that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started, and we can, and then again, whoever jumps on, we'll just pick up, or we'll go into the replay. All right, so we want to always, so I have a 5-step system when it comes to goal setting. And when you're doing goal setting, when you're doing goal setting, following these steps really has made it very, very purposeful for me, has made it very intentional, has made it where I am aware step by step what it is that I need to do. So I'm going to share those 5 steps with you. So the number 1 is intention. So anytime you do anything, you want to set an intention. So they say the power of intention in itself holds the power of creation. I read this quote somewhere, and I don't remember where, but when we live with intent, we own our actions instead of habitually performing them, right? So when you put intention in anything, so just not with goal setting, but any intention when it comes to anything you want to do, even when you're starting your meditation. I know for me, even when I start my prayers, intention is mandatory. I have to set the intent, what is it that I'm doing? And there's a purpose to this, there's a science to this, right? So it's you're being very clear and specific what you're doing next. And again, we'll touch on the subconscious, because I'm all about the subconscious. So first, actually, before I even get into that, for anyone who is coming on here, maybe hasn't had a chance to really know who I am or what I do, introduction will be great if I can do that first. So just letting you know, my name is Sambra Marudan, and I am a life and mindset coach, and I specialize in neuro-linguistic programming as well as hypnosis and timeline therapy. So I really, really work with the subconscious mind. Why? Is because it is it's your blueprint. It's your blueprint. It's really where your identity lives. It determines your identity and what you do every day. So your behaviors, your values, your beliefs, your memories, all of that stuff is sitting. And we're going to get into a lot of details and what the facts about subconscious and all that, and how important it is, especially when it comes to goal setting. So because goal setting is just a word we call, but it's really creating the life that we want to live. And feeling that fulfillment that what we are accomplishing, because we are here as human beings, we're here living a human experience. Right, just let me go back here. And that is so important, that when we're working with the subconscious, we are really leveraging, we're really taking advantage of what's really happening inside, and what we need to do in order for us to match what it is that we're looking for in the external, in our external reality, right? So we'll get into that, and I'll explain that. So there's a lot of science because I love science. I'm a science sort of fanatic. So I like to couple science and spirituality together. I say they're sisters. You can't separate the two. So I'll get into a lot of the science there. So if you're someone who's not into the woo, I love to talk to you, because I do match it with the science part of it, so you'll be getting a lot of that knowledge. So that is, hey Linda. So that is that. So just a small introduction about myself, and I work with women across the world, and I work in capacities such as in group programs or as one-to-one, and I'm doing that right now. I am looking to open up a membership, so that's the project that has been taken on for this year. So that's one of my goals. But again, enough about that. I just wanted to make sure we get right into goal setting so that we are making time. All right, so first things I was saying, goal setting. My goal setting system is I have 5 steps that I follow. The first thing I do when I'm starting to set goals or when I'm starting to do anything is I start with the intention. And I was mentioning earlier is the power of intention itself holds the power of creation. When we live with intent, we own our actions instead of habitually performing them. I read this somewhere and I can't remember where, but I loved it. It stuck with me, and I wanted to make sure that you understood, because it really is about we owning that action. We know that we're going in, we're telling our subconscious that this is what we're doing right now, and it needs that. It needs that clarity, it needs that specificity, like it needs to be very clear what the order is, right? And we're going to talk again about the facts about subconscious, and you'll understand why this really is important. So and when you're doing intentions on a consistent basis on anything you do, so in your meditation, when you're about to do something and you set the intention, today I'm going to take a walk, and you're setting that intention, I'm going for this walk right now, I'm going to go and purchase this program for myself, I'm going to start my prayer, and in this prayer this is my intention for it. I'm going to work, and what is my intention for that day for this job? What am I wanting to get from it? So intentions are very powerful. So on that note, let's set an intention, and I want you, whoever's on here right now, to take in a few deep breaths. So in and out. And you can close your eyes or you can leave them open, but just take a few deep breaths. And if you feel called to, you can even place your palm right on top of your heart center. Your heart center is so powerful. They say it vibrates even more. It's got, the energetic field is as powerful as the mind. So touching that right there, and just as you breathe into that heart center, feel it expand for you. Feel it be expansive. Feel it like have so much space for love, space for creation, space for hope, right? So keep taking in deep breaths and just bring your realization to the heart center, and just take a moment to just do that right now. Feels amazing, huh? Oh, yeah. So now repeat after me these lines. I am ready. I am fully committed to take the next steps towards my dream life. Knowing I am supported and everything I need is available to me and will present itself at the right time along my growth journey. As long as I'm committed and aligned with that I want, and most importantly, how I want to feel every day, it is a done deal. I am grateful for wanting more for my life. I am grateful to my Creator for guiding me each and every second of the day to live my purpose. And it is done. And so it is. Take another deep breath in, and breathe in all the gratitude, breathe in all the appreciation that you're here, that we're sharing this space together, and let's get going. So that first thing, again, always set intention. Even when you're looking at your goals and you're wanting to set them, you can even try to do this even afterwards when you have a moment by yourself to actually do this. Just start with the intention, and here's a little bit of a prayer there for you. All right, so number 2 in the goal setting process is to reflect. So this is where we want to take some time out to call out what it is that you want at this stage of your life. So what do you want? And if you don't mind actually putting in, I know someone put financial abundance on here. If anyone else wants to put in, what is it that you want and that you've been dreaming about doing for such a long time, but you just felt that no matter what, you were not able to get it done, or you had so much barriers that were coming up, or roadblocks. Like, again, we always start at a stage where we're in circumstances where it's always about something outside of us that's preventing us. So we're going to talk about when it comes to creating the right mindset, because anything in any circumstance is possible. The circumstance don't determine what you want to do. So your intention is, once you set it, you just have to want it bad enough. You have to just want, and you take the action towards it, right? So if you can share, what is it that you want in your life? Or if you don't want to share on here, just write it down. Make sure that when you put pen to paper, when you actually put it out, it really symbolizes to the subconscious that it's real. You're getting you become the observer of that, and you actually can see it being real for you, right? So you want to make sure that you write that down. So put it in there, and then take a moment as you're writing that in. Take a moment, and you can write these questions down as well, because this later on will come. Unconditional love and security. I love it. Unconditional love is already yours, Lynn. It's already yours. You just need to now work on cultivating it and actually believing in that. And that comes with a lot of the practice, a lot of the programming, right? So if you're feeling you're working very hard in it, you then have to say, okay, what is it that I need to unpack? And then unconditional love is always there, and having that belief on it. So putting even in your intention is that I'm grateful for this love and how this support that I get all the time, no matter what in my life. So if you're not feeling supported maybe with visible things, you are supported with the invisible. So your angels, your guides, your divine, so whatever you want to think, basically you're a higher power that's always there, no matter what, that holds you even closer than your own mother, right? So I love this when I started to believe in this, because that was one of my things, is just to know that I'm supported, that I'm safe, that I'm cared for. And once I embraced that, I didn't have to look very far. And then, what happens? I matched it, where I now attracted the people that actually just openly gave it to me. And all I had to do is just really believe it within myself. And that takes time to kind of build up. And we're going to go through that when it comes to subconscious programming. Right. So that's great. So yeah, just write those down. And these are the questions I want you to write down. You can even use these questions later on when you're doing journaling, as you're doing your goal setting. So the first question is, for the first question is, what do you want? You make sure you write that down. And then when you picture your higher self, what do you picture? So we have a higher self, and we have the self that we know, the conscious self that we know, that goes out, that does tasks and all that. But we have a higher self, and a lot of people call it the soul, right? So that's part of us that knows everything. That's that part of us that connects with a divine creator, that connects to cosmic energy, right? However you want to call it. But that higher self, what do you picture? Like, what do you picture for her? What is it that you picture for? So when you picture your higher self, what do you picture? How do you want to feel? That feeling inside of your body. Like if you're feeling abundant, remember a time when you did have the money, when you did have abundance, when it comes to, you had an amazing result with your health, an amazing result with a test score that you got, whatever the case is, how did that feel like? Because that's abundance right there. That's abundance. That's you getting something that is, it's hard to even explain, right? So, but just tapping into that feeling is all that matters, right? So how do you want to feel? How is your soul version of yourself go about her day? So this person, now you know what you want, you know how you want to feel. What's her day look like? What do they do? Like how does the day go? How is the soul version of yourself, vision version of yourself go about her day? And then finally, what habits and activities fill her hours? This is where the action steps come in. This is where goal setting is so important, because it's one thing to know, it's one thing to want, but we want to actually start to program that to become your identity. So in your mind, when you're actually visualizing this, is what sort of like activities and habits fill her hours, right? Because you are wanting to be this person. Hey, Soraya. You're wanting to be this person, right? So use this time, brain dump this information. So I'm not going to give a lot of time on this call because, again, I want to just be mindful of the time we have on here, but write these questions down and revisit this video. Revisit this video to kind of get the steps again. So again, in your reflection, you want to, again, write down what do you want? And then, so is there anything you've been dreaming of doing? And then number 2 is, when you picture your higher self, what do you picture? How do you want to feel? How is your soul vision version of yourself go about her day? What habits and activities fill her hours? And just free write this information down. So if you've got a few moments here, just kind of do that. And bring up anything on that paper that comes to mind. So I'll give some examples. Like for me, it's traveling, doing certain courses that I've wanted to do and taking that on. Not for me, but I've seen a lot of the feedback that I get for climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, right? So by climbing a mountain or running a marathon or starting a business or writing a book. I hear a lot of that. I know for me, that's a big one. I would love to write a book. It's something that I've wanted since I was a little girl. I was little. I think I was not even 7 or 8, and I used to do doodling. Like I used to imagine myself as a storyteller, and I really somehow I forgot that for a period of time, and now I'm doing this. I'm like I would love to just take on and just write from my heart, right? So that's another thing. So just write all that stuff, brain dump that on a piece of paper. Really enjoy this process because this is step 2 in the goal setting process that I've created, and take the time to do that. Okay, so as we move on, and you can leave some space there so you can revisit it back again in your notebook. So number 3, so we've done 1 is intention. So we did that intention. I've given you an example of how you would set an intention. You can make your own intention. You can create it. Just make it easy for yourself. Don't make it complicated. You don't have to tap into or memorize this. Just do it by setting the intention of what it is you want to do and what you want to get from it. Not even get from it, but what do you see yourself accomplishing from it, right? So that would be your intention. And then number 2 is reflect, and I gave you the questions there for you to actually revisit that and get really, really into that later on, even after this video, if you like. And then number 3 is you want to make a plan and you want to make it smart. All right, so that's number 3. You want to make a plan and you want to make it smart. So you're noticing we're getting there now. We're getting into the action steps now. So making a plan is now here we get into the meat and potatoes of everything of goal setting process, right? So in the making a plan and making it smart, so that's number 3. Put in a little indent, so a tab where you can say A. So number 1 under making a plan is you want to prioritize. So here we want to create life pillars. So what areas in our life do we want to focus on? So many people come with different areas of life. So we're looking areas such as finances, your career, your health and wellness. We're looking areas such as spirituality. So there's so many. There's adventure. There's personal development. There's relationships. So whatever is really the focus for you right now. But I would advise just again to make it very simple for yourself. Do not go over 5. So try to find 5 life areas that are very important to you, that you know that if I have these nice and aligned, I'm good. I'm actually living an aligned life. I'm living and I can actually give focus to them, right? So we're going to get into the details of that. So just to give you an example, a visual, and I hope you guys can see this here on the camera, it looks something like this. So on your piece of paper, you want to write, maybe title it My Goals for 2021, and area 1, let's say that's your relationships, right? And area 2, oops, I'm just going to put that here. Area 2, you're going to put, let's say, your finances, right? Area 3, you're going to put your career or business, whatever it is that if you're running a business, or if you're wanting to, work on your career, like really do what career or business, whatever it is that you're doing right now. And then on this one, I don't know what else, health and wellness. This is a big one. I think this should always be always be on your list of goals, right? So these are the areas. Hello, Mina. So making sure that you're putting down your areas and identifying, okay, so I have, these are the areas in my life that are very, very important. So again, you can, just break it down, because what you're doing is you're getting very, very organized now, right? So you just, so you probably have one major hairy goal that you want to have. So for example, I want to write my book. Like by the end of December, I want to write my book. So that's one big goal. So you always want to keep that handy, that's coming in. But whenever you're creating goals, why we break it down into different areas is because I always use this metaphor, and you can work with me here. I love this metaphor of like a tabletop, right? So in the table, you've got 4 legs. Now, so the tabletop here is your main goal. Hello, Liv too. I don't know if that's it. Hey, your main goal. That's your tabletop, right? So the bottom legs are your pillars, so your life areas, right? So those life areas also need to be looked at, because if one is taken out, what happens to that table? It starts to tilt. So you can have an amazing goal that you want to go for. You may say that maybe one major goal is I want to save $10,000 this year. That's going into my savings by December 31st. I want to have $10,000, right? But if you're saving and yet you don't have a job, or you're not bringing in income in, that savings is not going to help a lot. You're not going to be able to sustain it, that goal, right? So making sure that, yes, have one big goal that you're focused on, but ensuring that your other life pillars are also getting focus. We are systemic. So one area affects another area. So your finances will affect your health. Your relationships will affect your health. Your health will affect your career, right? So you want to make sure they're all aligned and given focus. Now, you may not have to focus a lot of energy on all of them, but your one energy will go, like a lot of focus will go on the main goal, but these other ones are going to where the action steps that happen when you're doing the planning process, which we're going to get to in just a moment. So please give me a thumbs up to tell me, does this make sense? I just want to make sure that I didn't lose anyone. I know some people are jumping on now and they probably missed a little bit of the instructions there. But again, we are on number 3 of our the goal setting process that I've created, and it's making a plan and making it smart. Yes, thumbs up. All right. Okay, so that's under making a plan and making it smart, right underneath the main one, number 1 is prioritizing, and this is what we're doing now, and I showed the pillars here. So right. And then the second bullet under making a plan and making it smart is you want to pick the one goal for each of these pillars, for each of these life areas. So let's say, for example, let me just quickly go here and give you some examples. I wrote notes because this is an actual workshop, so I wanted to make sure I gave you all the right notes and information. All right, so for example, what do we want to do? Let me give you an example here. So for example, I gave an example with the money, right? I want to save $10,000 by the end of the year, December 31st, I want to have $10,000 in my account. So in there, right? So you're going to now, basically, that's your goal under the finances. Let's say that's it. Under health and wellness, what goal you're going to put in there is I want to lose 30 pounds by the end of the year. This year is I want to lose 30 pounds right? So you're going to put that under the goal for health and wellness. For personal development, it could be maybe I'm going to be listening to a podcast every single day on my way to work, right? So whatever that goal is, to build your personal development, to feed your mind, right? Or I'm going to create a morning and evening routine, and that's what's going to be things that I'm going to take care of. So that could also go in your spiritual area where you're working on building on spirituality. So how do I build on that? So I'm going to meditate every single day. I'm going to we're going to get into the details of how to actually make it happen, but just making sure you write the goals that are really resonating with you, that you know, this is what I want to do under this area of my life, right? And I'm telling you, when you actually start to see it, once you're done, they somehow all connect with each other. So it's like once you do one, it's like a ripple effect, and it affects the other area, and it makes it so much easier for you to maintain it, right? So by doing this work, by doing the planning, it gives you more clarity. By putting pen to paper and actually writing it out. A lot of people set goals in their head, but the subconscious doesn't have verbal language. It needs to see it. It needs to visually see it, because that's one of its facts about the subconscious, is it needs to see what it is you're telling it, because it's very visual, right? So this is why writing your goals down, and when you're looking at it and reading it, and again, we're going to get into like how do we even make it more powerful, right? So we're going to get to one of those steps as we go along, right? So think big, pick one goal for each of the areas of your life that we've already established, and you want to make it SMART. So when we talk about SMART, a lot of you have probably heard you've heard SMART goals, right? So just to kind of recap, and again, I'm not going to assume everyone knows it, because I want to make sure that everything that we are covering here, that you have information on. So if we're looking at, when we say, it's an acronym, SMART is an acronym, and it's one of the most powerful. There are other acronyms out there when it comes to setting goals, but SMART is SMART is one of the most commonly used acronyms that when it comes to organizing your goals and making, not organizing, I should say, because that doesn't really work on the action plan, but it tells you how to actually start to plan it out, right? So you want to make sure when you're looking at your goals that they are very specific. So vague goals create room to be too flexible, right? So make sure they're very, very specific. So as I said, I want to lose 30 pounds by December 31st. Right? So you have a specific goal. The how, the when, don't worry about that for now. We're just setting a goal saying, I want to lose this amount of pounds. So I'm just going to say, I want to lose weight and I want to look good. Or I want to feel healthy. Okay, let's get more specific with that. What does healthy mean to you? What would that be measured as, right? So you say, okay, if I lose 30 pounds, this should get me towards what it is that I want to feel like, how I want to look like, how I want to, that will help me with my vitality, right? As an example. So that's a specific goal. So again, do not leave room for it to be vague, because what it is you're very flexible now. And the subconscious does not like that. It does not like vague. And reason being is it doesn't want to do the work. So it wants specific instructions, because it's a fact about the subconscious is it basically takes orders very well, but you got to be very clear in what you give it. So this is why being specific is very, very key. The second letter M, measurable. So there has to be some way to measure your progress. So how will you measure that you have this? How will you measure this on a week-to-week basis or on a month-to-month basis? So having that structure, having that available to you. It's like, do I have a system that I would check? Do I have whatever it is that you would come up with that? How is it measured? How do you know that you're actually going towards your goal? Like, how will you know, right? So, and it has to be measurable, measurable, like using numbers. It could be using numbers. It could be evidence that you're seeing, whatever that is, right? So this will apply to every area of your life, and it will apply very differently, but making sure that you can measure progress as you're going along. So you're just not assuming that this is happening. You actually have a measurable tool that can actually confirm that everything's working out, that what you're doing, because this way it gives you an opportunity. If it's not working, how do I tweak that? How do I make the changes there? Because goals sometimes will change along the way, where you tweak, you think you're going in and you end up getting more information about it. So you can add that into your plan. The next letter is achievable. Attainable. It should be challenging, but not so challenging, but not doable. So anything that you find, yeah, it's easy, I got it. So for example, if I've made in this year I've made 40,000, right? So I've made 40,000, and I'm just, the first idea that came up in my mind, I've made 40, or you know what, let's stick to the weight loss, because that's the kind of the trend we're going on here. So for example, this year I've lost maybe 20 pounds. Now I can say, oh, I'm gonna lose another 20 pounds. I've done that already. I know the system. I know the steps. Like it's almost like the body needs to know something that's very, very different. Very like you're going now another level up. You're not doing it to stay the same place, right? So you want to make sure, again, it is challenging, but also doable, right? So you are able to get it, but it needs to have some challenge in it. And someone who has, I think we've got someone who's done weight training and all here, you'll know that once you hit a goal, you have to up it a little bit in order for you to give. And someone can share this, because I'm not very familiar when it comes to that industry. But when it comes to even weight loss, you hit a plateau and then you have to shift it up a bit. So that's where you're not learning new habits in order for you to make that work, right? It's not the same thing you're doing over and over again. So same concept here, same idea here. So you understand that, just make sure that it's challenging, that you're like, when you think of it, you're like, oh my God. I give you a good example. Walt Disney, we would have meetings with his staff, and they'll come up with ideas, and as soon as he gives an idea, the team will be like, yeah, we can do that, it's all good, like that's great, we can make it happen. He'll say, no. He'll come up with another idea, and they will say the same thing. That actually can work, we can make it work, and all of that stuff. And he's like, no. Then he'll come up with another idea, and as soon as he said, when he would come up with an idea, and the team would say to him, that's kind of like far-fetched, like I don't know if we can make this happen, or we can, and he'll say, that's what we're gonna do. And because he knows that those stuff, he can really do those, and they can be done. It's the stuff that really scares us. And this is why when we're here doing these goals, why we don't make them happen, is because they scare us. So we're taking that, we're taking it, with both our hands, and we're going in there knowing it's going to be challenging, but knowing it's doable, it's possible for us, right? So that's for A there. And then R is relevant. So does it truly matter to you? This is key. Does it truly, truly matter to you? So if something doesn't matter, you're not gonna feel that, like that, I'm excited to wake up. You even feel, some people will feel pain. They'll feel stress and overwhelmed. It's not to say that, because pain drives us. Pain really gets us moving, right? And we want to use that to our benefit, but we also eventually want to get to a point where we can use our pleasure as well. The pleasure of the evidence that we see. Oh my God, I'm excited because this stuff works. I'm going to do more of it, right? So as you're going, you are really, really tapping into that. So making sure that it truly matters to you. So pick goals that really, really count in your life, and that they'll give you that breakthrough. Right? So don't be scared to set, and don't settle low. Just go for that next best thing, that next big thing for you that you look at and you're like, I don't know if I can do it. That's a good sign. You're meant to do it, because one, it's in your awareness, but you're scared, but you have this sort of kind of desire to try it out. You're curious about it, right? These are good signs to know you're on the right track, and that that's actually meant for you. So just making sure that they're realistic in this stage of your life. So I'm also being realistic about it. So for example, like I want to go into space, and I want to travel to the moon, yet maybe my health does not match that. Maybe I'm not, there's certain things that I need to work on first before I actually can travel to the moon. How long will it take? Is it something that I can achieve in a year? Obviously, that's not realistic. There's a lot of study in that, right? There's a lot of work beforehand before I can even go to the moon. Now, is it impossible? No, I can go. I just need to do the work, the legwork just ahead of time. But is it realistic for the time frame that I'm looking for right now for myself? Likely very not, because I'm just exploring it. I don't even know what I need to do, right? So just being realistic with that, and just making sure that you're focusing now, okay, I know I have all these goals, but I want to see with it. Oh, I'm loving all the hearts and stuff. Thank y'all. All right, so that's the R. So, and then finally the time. Is it timely? You gotta set a deadline. This is the part where a lot of people miss, right? It's like, when will I know? When is it? Because even when I do these sessions with my clients, the first thing I say, when will you know you got that goal? What is that date? What is that time? What will you see? What will you feel? What will you taste? What will you hear? Right? So all of these things come in. That's the most important thing, is when will you know you have the goal, that you've achieved it, that you've got it. So that's where you kind of, because this will kind of drive you there. And I'm going to talk about the science when it comes to neuroscience, with the neuroscience of manifesting. So it's all to do with the subconscious programming. It's all to do with that, right? So making sure that you write it down, by this date, I'm going to have this goal accomplished. Now, one thing I need to add here, we can plan everything we want. We can put a set date. Some people even tell you put a set time. On December 31st at this time, 12 something p.m., I have this goal. You can do all of that. But end of the day, also say, divine's time is always the best time. It's end of the day, your creator decides what is the best time. He knows what is the best time for you. So always when you're manifesting something, when you're asking for something, you ask, I want this or something better. I want it accomplished by this date, or even better. Because divine timing is always the best time. I'm a firm believer of that. Because I could even get that desire, that passion, that dream, that vision sooner than I even anticipated. Right? So really, this is really the stage of surrender in your life, where you now know you're now working on your own by yourself. You have support system that come in and help you, because that's a guarantee. So whether you want to believe that right now or not, you have to come into that, start looking into that, because you are not doing this life by yourself. You have support system that's backing you up. That's why when you set the intention, you want something, you've got other forces that are coming in saying, okay, so it's like you hire a team. One will take care of making sure they keep you on track. One will take care that it's keeping you where you're now constantly being, if things like that. Like the divine, again, look at it, the divine being the CEO and giving approval of everything, and then you've got your guides that speak to you. So the resources that come to you that you wonder, oh my God, I just thought of this today, and all of a sudden so and so called me, offered me some resources that I actually needed. That was on purpose. That was you setting that, because you set an intention, you wanted something, boom, you opened up Pandora's box, you opened up that, you turned the ignition, and now you've got forces that are invisible working and supporting you. This is really, for me, an affirmation. Yeah, very true. This is an affirmation I use every day. I'm always supported. I am always supported, because I believe in that. I didn't at one point, because I suffered with a lot of anxiety. And when you suffer from a lot of anxiety, you've disconnected from that faith to know that you are looked after. That you are never nothing bad is going to happen. You are looked after. And when you can really, really get in that, then you start to take action. You do your part. Instead of freezing on that sort of frozen state, right? Because that's what anxiety does. It freezes you and it lets you sit stuck in one place. So that's that. So that is the SMART goal. So that is our number 3 within number 3. So I would say number 3, make a plan, make it SMART. We had prioritize, we had think big. So pick a goal for each of the areas of your life. Make it SMART. So this is a SMART acronym. Just make sure that you're following, when you're setting your goals, follow this acronym and make sure that they serve, that you're taking the steps perfectly beforehand. Right? And then finally, we don't stop there. You now want to say, okay, how do I break this down to ensure that I have actionable steps? Goals, really, where the rubber hits the road is when you start to take action towards it. Yes, saying it, writing it down, putting it up and saying, this is what I want. One thing, that's great. That's the first step. But the main thing is really the action steps. It's the in-between stuff that really gets you to where you want, because you are now saying, I want this, and the universe is asking you, are you sure? Can you show me that you want this? And we have even sayings in our faith, like in my faith, it says, if you want it, you need to show me that you want it. Take a step forward and I'll come 10 times running to you and I will give it to you. But if you don't show me you want it, then I will not know what your instructions are. I will not know what it is you really want. I wouldn't want to give you something you can't handle, right? Because even the good stuff, we need to know how to handle. Hence why people get bankrupt when they become millionaires or they win the lottery and they lose it. There's been studies on that. And they say they lose this stuff and they wonder why. It's because their mindset, their identity isn't someone who has $1 million or has money like that. So they will lose it all because it's almost like it repels, right? And yet you're saying, but that's a good thing. Yeah, so this is what the divine tells us. It tells us, I can't give you something you're not ready for. So show me you're ready. And this is where the action plan comes in, the breaking it down. So for example, if we're doing goals, if you want to, let's look at that as an example so you know exactly what I'm talking about. So for example, if you're setting a goal, I want to lose 15 pounds or whatever pounds, we're going with the weight because we've kind of been going through this example. Your action steps in between will be, I will drink 70 ounces of water every day this year. Okay, every day this year. So I'm putting that into my calendar. I'm putting that into my planner. So that would be one of the steps. Another one, I will update my LinkedIn profile. I will attend 4 workout classes per week, 50 out of the 52 weeks. So now you're planning that. Now we have systems like Google Calendar. We have, scheduling planners. You can do it in a book if you want, but I love Google Calendar. So I put in all my stuff. I color code it. Now, when you go into programs with me, we get into a lot of detail with that. We actually create it together in my one-to-one programs. So I give you the workbooks and all of that. But just, this is something to kind of get you started. And for you hopefully pick it up and start creating what it is you want to create, right? So another one would be, I will invest in a healthy food delivery service, or I will start eating, I'm going to invest some money towards maybe clean food, organic food, or whatever. Or I'm going to start investing in a recipe book where I create all my recipes and I have that ready for the week, where I know exactly what I'm making every single week. Some people will even say, I will invest and get a coach, a health coach. That's amazing when you have accountability that you can do. Maybe if you're finding it very difficult, you may want to get someone to be there by your side. It's an amazing investment. Investment means you're getting results back. You're getting something back from that, right? So always see it as an investment. Anything you put towards for yourself is an investment. I will take a cooking class. I will weigh myself every Monday and record my weight as a method of keeping myself accountable. So that's where the measurable is, right? You're knowing, okay, every week I'm going to make sure I'm measuring. Every week I'm going to, whatever it is that you want to do that can measure that, right? So these are examples. Another one that I really, really love is the savings, and I've talked about that. So just giving mini goals on that when we talk about breaking it down. So I want to add 10,000 in my savings by December 31st. That's the big goal under finances. And I will mini goals will be, I'll make a minimum of 300 out of every paycheck and put it in my savings every other Friday. So you now have a plan. Where is that money coming from? Because having a goal is one thing, but when you don't have a plan as to how you're going to make that happen throughout the year on a daily basis, it's almost like you're saying, I want to go somewhere and I don't know where I'm going. This is your GPS. This is your guide, and it's that sort of Alexa, where am I going? It's telling you, this is what you're doing. This is what you're doing, right? So these are examples. So I'll put the 300, and then another one is I will complete monthly money check-ins on the first of every month to measure progress and track my financial goals. So you're either getting an accountability, a financial accountant, someone in finance that can help you kind of keep track of that. And then I will read, another one is, even reading. So this one I put in because I started to do that myself, because I'm working on financial abundance myself. I believe someone here Helen was doing that. I will read 4 books about wealth and managing money throughout the year. So I'm going to make it very achievable, and I'm going to say I'm going to read 4 books, and I'm going to ask around what's really, and people that are really doing well, what is it that they did, what books did they read, what podcasts did they listen to, and put that as part of my regimen every single day, so that I'm in that goal, I'm in that vision, right? So this is confirming to the universe that you are serious, that you're not joking around. This is no joke, and this is happening for you, right? So there you go when it comes to breaking it down. So again, summary: make a plan and make it smart, and within that you want to prioritize. You want to create a goal for each of the areas. So when you prioritize, you're creating each area, what you're going to focus. Pick 3 to 5. Don't go beyond that, because it can get very overwhelming to keep up with. So find the most important areas in your life that you really feel you're surviving right now and you're not really thriving in them, and that's where you want to put your focus in. Think big, so pick a goal for each of the areas and make it SMART. So the SMART acronym, make sure that when you're setting them, that they are achievable, they are specific, they are measurable, they are achievable. And also with the S, make it sexy, make it feel good, right? So I love that word sexy. So just make sure that you, instead of just specific, just make it sexy, so it's nice and fun. And then make it achievable and timely, right? And all that. So, and then finally break it down. So set it into your calendar, set it into your planner. So have a system where you can start breaking everything down on a week to week basis and on a daily basis. So break it down that way. Again, when you're in programs with me, we get into a lot of depth with that. But for the sake of this, there's not a lot of time, but this will help kind of give you some idea. And you can always reach out if you have any questions as you're going along this planning process. All right, so number 4. So we've done number 1, which was intention. We've done number 2, which is reflection. And then we've done number 3, make a plan, make it smart. And now we're going into number 4, which is program your habits. Now, many people do not do this part. And what what I mean by program your habits is, in order to ensure you keep on track with your goals, you have to identify 2 things. You have to identify your roadblocks, so your barriers. So what is it that you have done before? You've set, I'm sure these goals that did not just come out of the blue. These are things that probably you've been thinking about and pondering about. But every time you try to do it, somehow something came in the way. Somehow something blocked it, right? So really identifying. And a lot of people will say, well, it's not, a lot of coaches and a lot of people, and I know this because I've experienced this myself, they'll say, oh, stop focusing on the negative, think positive, know that you're going to get it done and just do it. That's not enough. It really isn't. If I don't have the identity of someone that is 40 pounds less, I'm not going to lose 40 pounds because I'm not resonating with that, right? So, and also my barriers, if I want to solve a problem, I need to know what the problem is. So you can't solve a problem if you don't know what that problem is. So you need to bring that problem up to the surface. You need to look at it in the face and say, so you're the one who keeps blocking me. You're the one who keeps coming in my way. So now you've identified it. Now you find a solution around it, right? So barriers, so this is number 1 under program your habits. You have to identify your roadblocks, your barriers. And number 2 is you need to understand the neuroscience of manifestation. So I'll get to that in just a moment, but let me go back to the barriers. So the barriers can show up as small ones and they can show up as big ones. So the small ones are pretty self-explanatory. It's like, I want to sleep with my phone outside my room. I have a habit of always going on my phone and I'm always on social media and I just don't know how to stop it, right? So now that's your barrier. Every time I go, because it's affecting my mood, it's affecting my time management, I'm not getting things done that I need to get done, because and I know this because that's happened to me. It happens to me, right? So now when I have, I've had people that say, well, they'll actually put a timer. Get out of my own way. They'll put a timer on their phone where it shuts off social media, where they get timed out and they do not check it anymore, right? So that's another one way of doing it. Or if you have a habit every morning I had this habit where I would look at my phone as soon as I get up. Like it was an addiction. I would look at my phone. Oh, who sent it? Yet my first thing should be great gratitude, intention, and get up so that I can get my morning. And I'll actually get stuck in there and I'll miss my morning routine. So I was like, okay, how do I go about this? This is a fact. This is what's happening. Like, I'm not going to shame myself for it, but I need a solution to get out of it. So stop shaming yourself. Oh, I really want to do this and I just can't. And stop shaming yourself. Find a solution. Just know you do it and that's okay. You're not alone in that. But what is a solution to go around it, right? So my solution was my phone it's not even in my visibility. I don't even know where I put it. Like, so it's in my room, but somewhere where I can't see it. So tucked in somewhere. And if I don't see it, I don't use it. So I got up and that was my focus. And I even set timers for myself where I do not look at my phone from until 8 a.m. in the morning or 8:30. So anytime before that phone is not being touched. I don't look at it from 8:30 and it closes at 8 p.m. or 8:30 p.m. in the night. So I need to get even more specific. Make sure, is it 8 or is it 8:30? So I have to get even more clear with that. So do you guys understand what it is I'm saying here when it comes to making sure how to find solutions to even these little barriers can really affect you. But when you find solutions for them can make the difference from you actually creating to not creating. Amazing difference. So making sure that you find so if I want to drink water, let's say 1 liter, maybe 2 liters a day, I'm going to have water. So how do I make this? But every time I don't, and I have an issue with that where I don't feel like I'm not someone that will go out there to get the water. So now I bought a liter bottle. Or 2 liters. Some people have those big ones. I know someone has a huge one that has with it, and that's the water that covers the amount, and it goes with you everywhere. So it sits in your office. It sits in my office, and now I know I drink it. And as soon as it's done, I know I've got my intake. So I don't care when or where I drink it, but I make sure that it's done by the end of the day. So that was hard for me to start, but I had to make it easy for myself and accessible for myself. Make it accessible for you. Right? Make the systems easy for you. Now, the second, so those are the small barriers. So these are just a few examples. Then you're looking at the big barriers. So when we're talking big barriers, we're really referring to the limiting beliefs. We're really referring to deeper rooted beliefs that are really holding you back, right? So now that's going to lead us to the second part of programming your habits, which is the neuroscience of manifestation. So to have a vision is great. Like you can say consciously, I want to lose weight. I want to be healthy and I'm going to have beautiful relationships and I want to work on my relationship with my relative or my parent or my child or whatever the case is. That's awesome. That's great. Your conscious mind is going, whoa, amazing, woo, 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 and all that. But then you've got another part of you, which is your subconscious that says, no. We don't have this programming that you know this kind of love, that you know that you can see yourself worthy of losing this weight or see yourself worthy of getting this abundance. We don't have that in here. What are you talking about? So it goes, stop right there because you're going to die because you do not have the resources. So it's like saying I'm going to climb a mountain, Kilimanjaro, and I don't have my knapsack, I don't have my warmers, I don't have my water, I don't even have my tour guide. Imagine you try to do that. Will you survive that? Absolutely not. So this is what the subconscious looks at in even any goal you attempt to do. It's going to say, you don't have these tools. Where do you think you're going? So you're like, right. What do? I build the tools. And how you build the tools? Action. Taking action towards it every single day. The action steps I told you earlier. This is how you build up belief. And when you build up belief, you start to create the identity of that person that loses weight, that person that has this physique, that person that has authentic relationships, that person that loves unconditionally, that person that manifests abundance on autopilot and accepts when they don't have and when they do have. Right? So that's what we're talking about when it comes to the neuroscience of manifestation. Manifestation is just not reading affirmations. That's great, but affirmations actually comes after. You need to create the identity of the person that has that is that vision. If you don't have that identity, you will not be able to attract that vision version of yourself. That higher self that you see in that, you're meant for it, but now how do I actually start to create that on a regular basis? How do I be that person? Right? So this is really, really big, and a lot of goal setting programs don't talk about this. They don't talk about it because that is it's a fundamental part of it. Or you will not be able to attract what it is. You may be able to get close to it. You may be able to even get it, but you lose it. I've had clients that tell me that everything I get and then I end up losing it. I get it, but then I end up losing it. I don't keep it. Why? It's because you're really good at actually programmed to get it to a certain point, but then you don't know how to continue with it. It's not scalable for you anymore. So there's a point where you have a glass ceiling and you hit a ceiling and you're done. Then you have to start over again. So it's not that it's impossible, but look at it like you're driving a car with the handbrake up. Eventually it will stall. Then you have to reset everything again and then you start again. And that can be so tiring for your life. So this process helps you be able to say, okay, I want to go from scratch. Let's get from scratch. Let's figure this out. And let me create the identity of that person I want to be. That person I imagine myself being every single day. That person that feels some kind of way, that feels amazing, that feels love, that feels happy, that feels, content and peaceful. These are some words that came up from some of you, right? So that's for the neuroscience of it. So again, just to recap, to have a vision is great, but most people don't achieve their visions. Why? Because their subconscious identity is not aligned with that vision. So because they're being a different, what that is really because you're being a different version of themselves. So this is not who you are, but yet you're wanting this and it's not matching. And I gave a lot of examples, so that analogies, so that you can, metaphors I should say, that you can actually start to see. And you cannot force a new identity. You can't force this. So in a way, it's not your fault. You can't force when something is not sticking. You can't force it. You have to be realistic and say, okay, but it doesn't mean that now I get stuck and I stay the way I am. No, you're not meant to be doomed, because the fact that you want something, it means you're meant for it. You just need to start doing the work for it. Right? Do the work for it. So that's really what you're being asked to do. Create the identity that matches the person that has abundance, that makes $2 million a year, or $1 million a year, or even $100K a year. Create the identity of the person that works out and looks after their vitality, and create that identity that does that has that routine. If you never did it, you're not going to have that as a routine, as a programming in there. So it will not know what you need to do, and it will actually stop you. Because again, I gave example of the mountain, climbing it up. If you don't have the tools to get up there, you are going to die. In the subconscious mind, it looks at it literally like that. It doesn't mean you're going to die, but eventually you will die wishing on your deathbed, oh, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. Really, that's what this means, right? So we're taking away the shoulda, coulda, and saying, okay, what do I need to do to create this identity? All right, so you may ask now, even, what does this all mean? I've kind of given you a little bit of that, but what is a subconscious mind? And what does it mean by a subconscious identity? I talked about subconscious identity in a lot of depth here, so I'm just gonna give you some facts about the subconscious mind so you understand. So the subconscious mind lives in the back of your head. It's that little part of your head, right at the back of the head, right there. And your conscious mind lives around this area. And then we have another brain in between, that's our mammalian brain, and that's where our feelings and emotions, and they all three work together, right? So our reptilian brain is our old ancient brain. This is when the caveman, during the caveman time, where the function was really about survival, reproduction, eating, making sure, again, survival is the key theme here. So surviving and living and not dying. So the reptilian brain is all about that, right? And so the subconscious lives there. It lives in this area because it's a big part of our lives. It's like 95 to 97% of our identity is run by the subconscious mind. So if you have programming in there that is really linked to trauma, that is linked to limiting beliefs, that is linked to certain memories that are not pleasant, and these are running, what do you think your identity is going to be like? It's going to be that, right? So some facts about the subconscious so that you understand this a little bit more, because this is your blueprint, right? It's good to know this stuff. It records everything. So everything, even this moment, it's recording this for you. So this is great. You want this, right? It's recording this for you. It knows you showed up live. It knows, whoa, this girl's serious. She wants this. Okay, we need to take note on this. So do this often, here, everywhere, anywhere that you can find this knowledge. Do it often for yourself. You're feeding your mind, right? It controls 95% of our lives. And I mentioned it's our blueprint. It is built on habituation. So it's very habitual. So you need to, this is where the planning I told you earlier, you gotta make sure there's a plan every single day. What are you doing to go towards that goal? What is it that you're doing every day that is getting you closer to that goal? So the subconscious loves habit. It loves repetition. So that's what you're gonna serve that for that, and it's gonna work with you with that. It speaks to you in your dreams. This is when you're dreaming, it's actually your subconscious actually now organizing things for you. Right? So you'll notice certain shows you watch, all of a sudden they're coming in your dream. So it's the subconscious really stepping in and taking the front seat. Your conscious goes to sleep, your subconscious steps in, and it starts to organize all of that. So when you fill your day with positive, fulfilling things, you start to dream about that stuff. You start to, if you put intention saying, I really want to know about this thing. I want to know if I need to make a decision on this or whatever. Go to sleep, get there, and you'll notice answers coming into your dream. Right? Because your subconscious is a big part of that information sort of download. It does not process negatives. So if you are something, it will not. So let's say, I don't want to feel sad anymore. I don't want to be overweight anymore. I don't want to be in debt anymore. It doesn't understand that. This is why when they say positive affirmations are really, really powerful, you need to start reframing that into positive words. So I am, and not in a way that it's not believable. So you're saying that I am in the process of creating, a life. I'm in the process of creating abundance in my life. I'm in the process of losing this weight and feeling vital every single day. I'm in the process or I am, if you're already in that place where you're ready to believe it, right? So that's where it does, just knowing the difference and why when I say, obviously I don't want this. Why is this happening to me, right? That's the reason why. It's because it doesn't understand that it doesn't understand that. So you need to make sure your wording, the phrasing of your words, even if you're feeling like shit and negative, reword that shit. Reword that, because you are now working with your subconscious to make the other way, the positive way happen for you, right? So and that's why people do a lot of this when they're going through a lot of hardship in their life. They step into prayer, they step into meditation, because in there you can't talk negatively. You can't, because you almost surrender to a higher power to say, you know what, I need to know I need guidance, right? So you're almost like in that place. So this is why, again, I cover all of this when I work with my clients. Like we go from the bottom up and from the top down, like everything is covered when it comes to you as a human being. And it's very symbolic, and it's why vision boards work very well. And we're going to talk about that in just a moment. It's very symbolic. Anything symbolic, it really understands that, because it doesn't have a verbal language. It doesn't really understand words. So when you actually put it into paper, it actually sees it. Oh, that's a symbol of that. Because when you're putting something into words, you start to get a feel-good feeling. Because remember, we're using your front. So what you're doing is you're leaving. Journaling works powerfully. People who are anxious, when they say they journal, they've actually done studies in this through Harvard, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, where you're moving yourself from your amygdala, which is your fight or flight response center, into the prefrontal cortex, which is your logical center. So when you're writing, all of a sudden say, oh, I feel so good when I journal. I feel so amazing. Journaling has been such a powerful tool for me and all that. It's because actually you're moving that from a fight or flight response center into that logical, because you can do both at the same time. And writing is symbolic. It's very symbolic. So some people even draw how they feel. So that is a way the subconscious really understands. So make sure everything is written down. Don't just think it. Write it down. Put it into picture. Use your senses, because again, it's very symbolic. And the subconscious is really what's creating all of this for you. Right? It takes everything personally. So if you are talking negatively about someone else, it will actually respond that to you. It will think you're talking about yourself. It doesn't know anyone else. If you are judging, it will judge. You will start to it's because you're judging yourself. It's actually, people say like, oh, when someone judges, it means that they're very judgmental of themselves. Actually, that's what's happening, is that it's because you're doing that, it's creating that belief in you that you are that person. So things that you don't like of someone else and you keep bashing them, you're actually bashing yourself. You're recording that about yourself. And then now you're noticing that you're bashing yourself. So it takes everything personally. So your words, your inner critic, your inner talk needs to be really, really focused on. We talk a lot about this in my programs. We really focus on the inner talk dialogue that you have going on a regular basis. It enjoys serving, and it needs clear orders to follow, which is why you're doing the goal setting process. It runs the body, so it's autonomic. So it's got your heartbeat, your lungs going in and out with breath, your digestive system, your blood flow, all of this is autonomic. It's all run by the subconscious, automatically, instinctively. You don't need to think about, I want to breathe in, breathe out. You don't think about that. You don't think about your heart. Okay, beat, no, don't beat. Beat, don't beat. No, it's automatically there for you. SubhanAllah, it's automatically there for you. And it's the subconscious that's really managing that. It's doing that for you. Not that it's, but it's where it's programmed there. So, and it does not have, we talked about verbalize. So yeah, so that's just a few of the facts about the subconscious mind. And so, I mean, we could go really in depth when it comes to this, but in the purpose of timing on here, I just want to, hello Rania, hi girl. So just want to make sure that I gave you this, because this is some amazing, amazing information about you really understanding. When we always want to do something and then we never end up doing it. We wonder why. And you say that I have all this knowledge, but when I'm actually in it, why don't I remember it? Why can't I say what I want to say when I'm actually faced by it? This is why. It's because you're not tapped into really calling it out for it to actually give you this information, because it's sitting in your unconscious mind. You're unaware of it. So you doing this work on a regular basis, you now give the subconscious a front seat to speak to you more, right? And the subconscious really works well with your higher self. It's because now you're really being the best version of you, that you're really coming from a place of coming from your soul, right? So all this work really, it boils down to really living at that higher, from your higher self, from your soul, and not just living as a stranger to your own body, right? So this work, even planning in this way is really serving that, and you've seen it through how I've explained it. All right, so I want to ask you just a few questions. We're gonna get to we've gone to number 4 when it comes to all about this, the science of it, and all about the programming and all of that, and why things are not happening. It's not really your fault, but what you do with this information, you now can't unknow this. You're going to now know. So you're now going to take take your power back and actually start making things happen for yourself and understanding, okay, am I showing up as this person, as this higher self, this version of me that I actually want? What tools do I need to create that? What resources do I need to create that? Right? So I know what I want consciously, it's great, but I now need to start building that within me so that it becomes natural. So making the unrealistic natural, right? Because a lot of times you hear people, I don't think it's meant for me. I don't think I'm meant to do this. I don't think I'm meant to be rich. I wasn't born with a silver spoon, or my family never had money, so I don't know. Or my family no one ever had a business. No one actually was an entrepreneur, so I don't think we're meant to do that. Like, you may not even admit it openly, consciously, but actually you believe it. This is why even people who get income, they will stop at a certain point. They will not go beyond that because a limiting belief is blocking them from moving up. You'll get you'll attract certain relationships that will feed that experience, that the belief that's running, because and you wonder why I don't want this stuff. Yet, because you have a belief that's programmed, that's all it knows. You cannot attract what you are not aware of, what you are not identifying with. So it's as simple as that. But the good news is you can actually create that. You can create the identity that matches someone who's an entrepreneur. You can create the identity that's someone that makes $1 million a year or even more. You can create the identity of someone who has authentic, loving relationships in her life. You can create that identity. And that's where the limiting beliefs, the reprogramming happens. And again, in my programs, I go through all of that and I teach you how to reprogram that and how to reframe those limiting beliefs. There's a whole process to it. So you definitely reach out to me if you're interested. I do have a group coaching program that's happening. I'm hoping for it February. There's a tentative date right now, either end of February or beginning of March. But if you're interested, I've linked up the link for the group or the wait list. Reach out and then I will connect with you and we can talk a bit more. There's no commitment. You're not committing to it. You want to know more information on this? Reach out. If you're not interested, don't even bother. Just, whenever you're ready, you'll do it. Because I do want to work with people that really, really want to make this shift, because it is work. And I would love to have you. So if you're here, I know you're already thinking it, but again, that's an option and ways to work with me, getting deeper with this. But all right, let's go on here. And we are going, woohoo! I know Helen was in one of my groups and she blasted a lot of her beliefs. Helen, what did you manifest in your life during the program? If you can share that with everyone else, I would so appreciate that. So that, inspire others to know that. And it's such a powerful tool, and I give a lot of tools that I really get you in it. And I really take the time with you. But so anyway, moving on. Thanks, Helen, for sharing the love there. Moving on. So the final step is visualize it. Okay, so number 5 is visualize. So again, let's summarize. We've got number 1, intention. Number 2, reflection. Number 3, make a plan and make it smart. And we broke it down even further there, where we prioritize. We create a goal for each of the life areas. We make it smart, and then we break it down into your calendars, into your planners, and all of that. Then number 4 is program your habits. We talked about barriers, small and big. And then also neuroscience of manifestation, understanding really how to create the reality that you want. So it really starts from the mind. And it really comes down to reprogramming, subconscious reprogramming, and that's where the work really starts to take off. And then finally, visualization. So visualization. Now, before actually getting into visualization, I want to just give you a tip when it comes to reprogramming your subconscious. A good way to do this, and this is a tip I want you to get off, even if you don't choose to work with me as a coach or whatever the case is, or you're not ready to really make that investment. One tip that I can tell you is whenever you have a thought that's negative, let's say you want to manifest unconditional love, or you want to create specific goals, would be so for example, I want to lose weight, or I want to I want to buy a home, I want to buy a house, or I want to write a book. And when you think of that, you start to have thoughts that kind of go against it and say, I don't know if that's possible. And it may not be instant. It may come as you go along, as you're planning. All of a sudden you're getting blocks coming in. Those are the ones you want to pick up on and reframe to a positive. So I'm getting a block like, yeah, you've never written before. Like you don't even speak proper English. How are you going to write? This is one of my blocks. How are you going to write? Cancel, cancel, cancel. You reframe that and say, in every day by writing, every day by writing, I'm getting better and better at this. And writing isn't hard. I do it every day. You know, I just need to do 1 page a day. You write what you need to get you moving. So that's reframing it from the negative to the positive. Remember, the subconscious only understands positive. It does not understand the negative stuff. Write it, reframe it. Then you collect them. And then what you do is you record them, whether you're going to record it with your voice or you want to maybe just remember them. And in a meditative state, so you've taken breath where you're not doing multitasking, you're not running around driving. In a meditative state, you repeat those words over and over and over again. This is programming your subconscious. But you want to be in a meditative state. So a meditative state can be just taking a few breaths to get yourself into that zone. It could be that time frame between just before going to bed, just before going to sleep. So sometimes even a guided meditations are really great. So find one that really resonates with abundance, resonates with health, resonates with love. Get one that can kind of give you all the words that you need, and then that you really love it. When you hear it, whoa, she's speaking to me, or they're speaking to me. Listen to that. Put that in your ears and listen. On and on for morning and in the evening. And watch magic happen in your life. So that's one tip I can give you to take with you. I get into a lot more detail with this. Like I give you a full process on this. But I just want to make sure that you have those tips to take with you that will help out. All right, so finally, number 5, visualize it. So this is a part where we talk about, this is my most exciting part, where you create a visualization of what it is you want. So the vision boards are like the most popular things that actually can help you do this, right? So make sure that so just again, the science around visualization is when you are visual, when it comes to, so again, the subconscious loves images. It doesn't have a verbal language. So this is why vision boards are so powerful, because it loves the images to see what it is you actually are asking for. So if you are looking at a vision board and you see yourself in the vision board, living in that house that you want to attract, working in that career that you want to attract, that you want to work in, that you're already working in your mind, right? Because in the mind, it doesn't have a sense of time. It just thinks you're in it. So it's like, okay, so we're bringing more resources to support this image. And those resources become believable to the point where it becomes reality now. You can touch it in the real world. So this is really the science of visualization, the power. And you see this in the sports arena a lot. The sports industry, they use the power of visualization. So I have a story, like the best golfer of all time, Jack Nicklaus, I believe it's called, Jack Nicklaus, if I'm not mistaken, was asked, what is the secret of his success? So this is one of the best golfers of all time. He said, I never hit a shot without first holding in my mind a clear image of where the hole is and the ball moving from the stick right into the hole. With that image in my mind, I hit. The subconscious becomes a friend of the conscious. This is when you start to utilize the power of your visualization. Your subconscious becomes a friend of your conscious, right? So we are conscious even when we're doing sports. It knows. Okay, we have voluntary movement. Like we need to move the muscles. We need to take one step forward to get to where. So that's more conscious. Like we know how to plan that out. But when you get the subconscious involved by actually visualizing that ahead of time, those things happen instinctively. right? So you can be a master of this in one area of your life, but you want to now use that same technique. So you may have not been aware you were doing that, but now ask yourself, what makes me so successful here, and how can I try? It's the same system. Just put that into another system that actually works, another system area that you want to really work on, and use that same system there. Now you're conscious about this. Now you're aware of it. You can't unknow this information anymore, right? This is the power of visualization. This is the power of doing work like this, right? So that's basically, that's it. So making sure that you have images in your mind about you accomplishing that already. So if, let's say, you want to take a really big family trip that you've been wanting for so long, imagine yourself already there. What are you drinking? What the smells are? What are you gonna, where are you sitting? What are you seeing? Like the mind, the subconscious doesn't care whether it's real or not. It just knows you're there. It doesn't have a sense of time. It does not have a concept of time. So the more you practice it, and children do this so well. Children do this so well. They can tap into that image where they're in it, and they're really in it. They believe it. We have that still within us. We just need to tap into that inner child of ours, where we remember when we used to imagine. We used to imagine having the long, beautiful, colorful hair. I used to put the laços on the head. I think I had beautiful long hair, locks of hair, and I felt it. I felt it was real. I would be nurturing, where I would actually imagine myself playing like with my siblings or my cousins, and we would actually imagine ourselves in these roles. So just making use of that, because it is very powerful. So this is the power of visualization. Now you can take it in and make it concrete by using a vision board. And I have just a few things on the checklist that you want to make sure you have on your vision board. So create your goals first. Make sure that you know what it is you're actually trying to visualize. And then find pictures that represent those goals, that symbolize that give you that feeling of it, right? So use your own photographs, the photographs of you. Make sure you are on that vision board. I've seen so many vision boards and I don't see that person. Put yourself on there and make sure that picture that you're putting on, not only, okay, you're looking for something that makes you look good, but make sure that the memory that's attached to it is also good. Very important, because a lot of people use pictures and they think, okay, I looked really good here, but when I remember this time, it was such a hard year. It was such a hard time for me. Don't use that picture. Find something else. Take a screen. If you want to take a selfie, do that and then print it up. Walmart is really great. You can do it overnight and just kind of have them printed and you can go pick them up. And then you include photographs of your loved ones, anyone in your life that you want to put on there. Make sure you put them on there. Magazine cutouts. I don't know if people have magazines anymore, but I think Pinterest would be the best place for you to actually upload those pictures. And the other day, my daughter did her own sort of vision on her wall, and she printed from Pinterest and uploaded the pictures onto walmart.ca or walmart.com if you're coming in from the States, and through the photo center, and she got them the next day. So she did it in color and gloss, and I think it cost me only $20, which was amazing. I was so impressed by that, and it gave me an idea to do that myself. So Pinterest is great, and the good thing is you don't need to worry about copywriting, because you're not really sharing that as a thing. Like, just they've got many things you can do that are royalty free, but just knowing it's for your own sort of it's for you. So make a collage of all these images on a bulletin board, or you can do it on a wall. You can do it on a cork board. I have a cork board. Or you can do it on your planner. So a lot of people use their planners, and they'll have extra pages in there where they'll create mini vision boards of every area of their life. And then they have a big one. So for me, that's how I do it. I have a big one of everything that I want for all my pillars, for all my areas of life. And then in my planner, I have extra pages where I actually put my vision board for each area of my life. So my finances has its own vision board. My relationships has its own vision board. My personal development has its own vision board. My health and wellness has its own vision board. My adventure has its own vision board. So I have a few pillars there that are going for me, and I make sure I this way it's very clear. And the reason being is that the subconscious is not like chaos. You do not want to attract chaos in your life. So don't mix things up Don't make it chaotic. When you're looking at your board, you don't know what's what. Just make it very, very clear and specific, because it just likes the direct instructions, and it says your command, your wish is my command, but you need to be very clear it is what your wish is. So we did that. Add motivational affirmations, add your affirmations in there. And in there, make sure that you add in gratitude. You're grateful. Never, ever. One of my biggest things in everything I do, one is intention. The second one is gratitude. Everything I do, I start with intention and gratitude, and I end with gratitude. Always make sure you put gratitude in everything. So gratitude in your life, for anything that you're grateful for, put that in there. So I'm grateful for my life. I'm grateful for living in the dream home that I have. I am grateful for feeling lighter and healthy in my body. I'm grateful to the divine for giving me this opportunity to actually even have this dream, to dream like this, to want this, and to know that I'm supported by my creator to make this happen. And in divine timing, in the time, or even better, right? So make sure that's in your vision board so you can see it. And that takes me to the final point, is take a few moments to review your vision board every single day. Every day, because remember, you've written your goals, they're in your planner, you're not going to see them. Remember, the subconscious loves to be able to see signs and symbols and pictures and colors. It needs to be able to get direct instruction like that, because it doesn't understand verbal very much. It doesn't understand those thoughts in there. It just takes it very literally, right? So it's whatever is programmed, it will kind of match it with that. But when you have visuals and it kind of starts to see and say, okay, are we focusing on this now? Let's now focus on that now. Let's try to bring in more of that. And again, we get into a lot of really deep when it comes to subconscious reprogramming and the systems that are actually supporting that. All of that. So the science of it is really covered in my programs. And just make sure you're seeing it morning and you're seeing it at night. So morning and night. You're watching, you're looking at your vision board, you're smiling at it, you're imagining yourself in there. So create a really good one that you can actually travel to and be in it. And I'm telling you, it's one of the most powerful. I have one that sits right in front of my desk, and I look at it whenever I'm in thought, or if I'm feeling overwhelmed, or I'm feeling like I can't do this, or I'm not good enough for this. I have those moments where it'll creep in, right? I look up and it's right there in front of my face. And oh my goodness, I remember my why. I remember why I'm doing what I'm doing. My values. Oh, put your values in there as well. Make sure your values are put into your vision board, right? We do a lot of vision boarding in my program, and we go step by step with that because it's all part of goal setting. It's not separate. You cannot set goals and not have a visual of it. You can have a vision of it, because we are visual people. Our subconscious speaks this way. And we all have a subconscious, right? We're human beings. So we want to utilize that tool to give us the benefit. So that's it. Oh my goodness. I know this was a pretty long tour, so we're going to wrap this up. Can I get a lot of hearts from y'all to tell me that I did a great, well, not to tell me I did a great, but that you love this, and that this was things that, give me anything you want to say. If you want to put in a comment in there, if you want to, whatever, because it tells me that this is something that was so needed. I know it's so needed, but I want to just know that you are aware of that now. So that's awesome. Woo! Love the hearts, love the hearts, love the hearts. All right, okay, so let's finish off with a nice, beautiful meditation. I always like to finish off with that. This will be very, very quick, and I'm just going to take a moment. So just take a nice deep breath in, and I want you to trust in yourself in this small practice that we're going to have right now, just a small little meditation, that whatever actions come to you, that whatever is coming up for you is the right information for you. And knowing that you can trust yourself, knowing that you can tap into and see, is this coming from ego or is it coming from my soul? And knowing that in your body, how does that feel like? And practicing that's you connecting with your soul. So a lot of people say, well, how do I know it's the right information that I'm getting? How does it feel in the body? Go tap into the feeling in the body. And the more you get used to this, the more you will learn to trust in your intuition, learn to trust in you, right? I love you, Habiba. You're so beautiful. I love you, love you. Okay, so I love that. It's such a, it just gives me life. All right, everyone is so beautiful here. I love the people I get to meet and who I cultivate my relationships with. Amazing. Okay, so trusting in that. Sometimes when we meditate, we ask for guidance and it doesn't come in a meditation. So right now, even when we're doing this, it may not come right away for you, but you'll notice as you're going along your week, things are starting to come up in a dream. All of a sudden you have synchronicities happening. Someone's calling you that actually was the right person that is actually linked to a goal that you're setting for yourself, right? So that is so important to kind of keep an eye out, because it automatic, but I mean, don't look out for it and oh my God, I'm looking. You want to trust in the process as well, to know you're doing it now, right? And these things will happen. Don't choke it, just let it be and be in the flow and enjoy it. All right, so now let's close our eyes and bring our awareness back to the heart again. Let's close our eyes and bring the awareness back to the heart again. And we'll all open our hearts together. And bring your breath to your heart. So just breathe right into your heart center. And feel it expand. My heart's so full right now. The energy field of the heart is so powerful. Utilize your heart when you're rating your goals. Really tap into what your heart is saying to you, because it's so powerful. Now just start to deepen your breaths and allow it to expand, and see your chest just expanding. Just let go of everything that we just discussed. Anything that the day might bring, that you've got planned, just let go of it right now for this moment. And just be here now with your heart, with your breath. Feel free to make those sounds. Those sounds are beautiful. Now I want you to remember your soul-aligned identity. That soul vision version of yourself, the one we talked about when we first started this class. That higher self, the one you have imagined, that what she's doing, what fills up her day, what are her action steps, that soul vision version of yourself. This new identity that you have stepped into. Do you remember what did they believe about themselves and about the world? Your soul vision version self. And what do you believe about yourself and about the world? Align yourself with this soul vision version of yourself. Just align, just for this moment, just really connect to her. Perhaps you're believing in love and bliss and abundance, that the universe serves you, that everything is always possible, whatever your identity was, and just start to feel into what it's like to be this person. Just feel it right now. I'm so feeling her. Just feel her. How does it feel to be this person? Noticing that they are accessible to you right now, right here, and you have the power of being. You have the power of your mind, and you can bring them right here anytime you want. Just notice how it feels to be this person. How does this person move through their days? How does this person hold their body? And what actions is this person taking? So we can tune in and just ask for the guidance. And I want you to repeat these words in your mind. I am open to receiving the guidance I need for the next soul-aligned action. The next action I take from here, I ask for the guidance. I trust, I'm ready. And now just tune into what your next soul-aligned action is. Once you hang up here, once you leave this, what is it you're going to do? Will it be an email? Will it be a Google search? Will it be a phone call? Will it be, a testimonial? I don't know. What will that be? Take a moment to do that. Just visualize that. Now, as you're ready, if you're done and you're ready, you can start to open your eyes. And don't rush through this. Just notice what kind of actions as your vision version of yourself is taking. so exciting. So exciting to look forward to the world, to look forward to the future, to look forward to the next moment. It's so exciting. And be grateful for that. Be grateful that you take the time for you. You take the time to know that you want more than what this is. And there's nothing wrong to want more. I used to remember whenever I worked with my healer, and I would say, oh my gosh, I have never felt this full, this whole in my life. And he said, you have not seen nothing yet. And every time I feel whole and amazing and I accomplish the next goal, I tell myself, I haven't seen nothing yet. There's more to me. This is me acknowledging God's divine blessings, that I just need to want and do and be. And I have it. This world is so abundant. There's nothing we cannot have, as long as it's for our greatest good and the greater good of everyone around us. And we always want to come from that place. It's always to serve others as well. We're not here alone living in this world. It's not just about us. We're here to serve people, serve life. But when we serve ourselves, that comes naturally. It comes like almost you want to. It's a byproduct of it. Because we are living aligned. We're living at our higher, as our higher self, as our soul. So that's it. I am so grateful for you. I am so grateful for you in every way. And I'm grateful for you letting me have this space with you to share this knowledge, to share what I know, to share my gift. I acknowledge it as my gift. I feel I have this gift because if I didn't recognize it, then I'm not recognizing my divine's creation, the divine's creation, because he created me and he created all of us very beautifully. And a way where we can learn. This is an opportunity for us to really, really learn about ourselves and really learn about life and really becoming a part of life. All right, so thank you. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I love you, Mama. Feel free to reach out to me. Send me a DM or PM, I guess you'd call it here on Facebook. And I put 2 links on the top. If you don't mind, you don't have to, but I have my business page. If you don't mind sending me recommendations, it will help me sort of become more be known out there, and people can find my page often. So if you're called to, definitely I would love that. It's just there for you, but you don't have to, so not to worry. And so that's the recommend. I put the link on there. But I also put a link to my aligned waitlist. So put your name on there if you're interested in taking this further. And I will reach out to you and we can go into a lot of detail as to what's involved. And then you can decide at that time, is that for you or not? And we can go from there. All right. Otherwise, have a beautiful Sunday. You enjoy the rest of your afternoon. And I love you all.